And if this is your first job on a cruise ship, you are in fact a beggar. And what you don't want to be doing is sending a shit resume off to multiple different cruise lines. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. Today we are going to talk about how you guys are limiting yourself when it comes to getting a job on a cruise ship, because some of you are really stuffing it up for yourselves. So a question that I get all the time is, Lucy, when is the right time to apply for a job on board a cruise ship? Now, this really doesn't apply. So a lot of people think that there is a right time to apply to cruise ships because with yachts, there are yacht seasons, and even with like airlines, they have seasons where they are hiring. Cruise ships are hiring all year round. Now with cruise lines, there are concession companies, there are recruitment agencies, and there are, of course, the cruise lines. Depending on which one you need to apply to, depends on what job you want to do when you're on board, what cruise line you're going to go with, and where you're from. Of course, these companies are going to have periods where they're actually looking for someone, but there's nothing stopping you applying for the job in January, in June, in December, because like I've said, just because you apply in June and you have the interview and get the job in July, you might not get on board a cruise ship until December because it's a long process. Firstly, you have to wait for there to be a space on board a cruise ship for you to work, but also you have to get your medical, your C1D visa, you might have to get a passport, an STCW qualification. There's a lot of things to do before you can actually get on board the cruise ship. So this is one of the main reasons why it doesn't matter when you apply. If your CV is impressive enough, you're going to get an interview. Even if they don't want someone right now, they're going to interview you just to have you in the background so that when they do need someone, because they will, you're available. And again, if you get the interview from having a fantastic CV and you make an amazing impression in your interview, well, you're going to be first in line. It doesn't matter if 10 people have got the job before you. The most impressive person is going to be first in line to get the job. That's just how the world works, and especially the cruise ship world. Which is why on my website I have a document showing you how to get the best CV and how to make the best impression in an interview, because this obviously is the difference between you getting the job and not getting the job. So I want you to just completely erase the idea of having to apply during a certain month. No, I don't care what cruise line you want to work for, what job you want to do on board, where you're from in the world. Apply when you are ready to apply, and sooner rather than later, because as we know, it takes time for you to get on board. So what are you waiting for? I actually nearly did this when I first wanted to work on cruise ships. So I wanted to apply for Steiner, and I was saying to my mom, oh, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait to apply. And luckily my mom was like, what are you waiting for? Just apply. I applied, had the interview, got the job, and in the interview they asked me, okay, when will you be ready to start? Because what I was concerned of is, well, if I apply, I'm going to get the ball rolling and then I'm going to need to juggle my current job with the new job. But a lot of the time in these cruise ship interviews, well, 99% of the time, they will ask you when you are ready to start, because they know that you have a job already that you're going to need to give notice at. So if you're thinking of applying for a cruise ship job now, apply now. There's no right time to apply. Just get your application in, and if it's impressive enough, you'll be hired. Doesn't matter if they're looking for someone right now. Cruise ships have such a, high turnover of people because people are only allowed to do a 6-month, 9-month contract. It's happened to me before where I was told, okay, well, we don't need your position for another 4 months. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get a call a week later saying the person that I'm going to be replacing has actually broken her leg. She's been flown home. We need you now. It happens all the time. So apply. And if your resume is impressive enough, you'll get the job. And the second thing that you guys are limiting yourselves on, not all of you, but a lot of you, is you've chosen a cruise line. You've chosen a company that you want to work for, which is great. We all have a preference, right? But I'm sure you've heard the expression, beggars can't be choosers. And if this is your first job on a cruise ship, you are in fact a beggar. Because of course, if the company have an option of hiring you who's got no experience working at sea and someone with very similar skills and qualifications to you who has had time at sea, you know which one they're going to choose. So having this in mind, you may as well apply for every single cruise line and see which one says yes. And I give this advice to people all the time in my DMs. Just apply for everything. And so many times people are like, oh yeah, but I don't really want to work for this company. And I'm like, okay, well, I completely understand that, because I'll give you an example. When I was at Steiner and I got told I was going on Royal Caribbean, I was ecstatic. Royal Caribbean is obviously a huge player in the cruise industry. So yeah, I was very, very happy and excited that I got given Royal Caribbean. When I got my job for Harding and I was told that I was going to be going on P&O UK, I was excited to go back on a cruise ship, but I wasn't excited about the cruise line. And that was one of the best contracts I've ever had. Oh my God. I made more friends on that ship than I made on any of my other ships. The destinations were incredible. Honestly, I barely worked because we were in the Mediterranean. It was the best summer of my life. And that was on a cruise line that I would never have chosen if I'd have been given the choice. So my point is, you may want to work on Virgin Voyages and you may end up getting a job on another cruise line that you're really not that psyched to work on. But you might end up meeting your best friend on there. You might end up making a shitload of money on there. It might turn out that while you weren't excited about that cruise line offers incredible itineraries and you're actually going to go to Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, you know, places that you couldn't even have thought you were going to go to. So please don't be too selective when you haven't even had any experience on a cruise ship. You probably only know what you've researched and what I've told you or other YouTubers have told you about these cruise lines. But experiencing it for yourself is obviously very different from hearing the opinions of other people. So if you want to work on a cruise ship, apply for as many cruise lines as you can. There are hundreds of cruise lines, so there is no reason to limit yourself. Why are you going to apply for 2 cruise lines when there's hundreds? Just like recruitment agencies, I have a recruitment agency list on my website listing the hundreds of recruitment agencies that you can apply to. And then people only apply to one. Like, why are you applying to one recruitment agency when you could apply to multiple and potentially be offered multiple jobs? You know, you might be offered a job on Virgin, on P&O, on Carnival, on Disney, and then you get to decide what job you want. I mean, isn't that the ideal situation? So just try and set yourself up for success. Let's just take cruise ships out of the equation for a second. If you're unemployed and you're sat at home and you're looking for a job, you don't just apply for one job. Well, I hope you don't. If you need a job, you apply for everything. And the job you get is the job you get. And once you have a job, if you don't like it, you can look for another job. It's the same with cruise lines. Apply for all the cruise lines, apply with all the recruitment agencies, and the one you get is the one you get. And let's say your first contract is on a cruise line that you're not that psyched about. Well, you have experience working on a cruise ship at sea now. So if you apply for the cruise line that you actually want to work on, they're more likely to hire you because you have experience in the industry. So please just give yourself as much chance as you can to get a job. Working on cruise ships is the best thing I ever did. I loved it. I miss it so much. It has changed my life in every way possible, and it can do the same for you. But you have to get on a cruise ship for it to do that. And you're not going to get on a cruise ship if you are only applying in February and you're only applying to one cruise line or recruitment agency. You can apply all year round and you can apply to multiple cruise lines and multiple recruitment agencies and see what you get. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, DM me on Instagram, send me an email at lucy@cruisingascrew.com. Go over to my website and check out the CV template guide and the Ace Your Interview guide, because as we said earlier, even if the company isn't looking for your job right now, if you're impressive, they're going to give you the job and keep you in the pool for when they do need you for a cruise ship. And what you don't want to be doing is sending a shit resume off to multiple different cruise lines. But thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you have found this video insightful, and as always, I will see you in the next video.